It's 2 a.m. The room is quiet except for the soft hum of a fan and the occasional rustle of blankets. You wake up for a moment and realize something familiar has happened again. Somehow your dog is taking up nearly 80% of the mattress. One paw is stretched across your leg, their body is pressed against your side, and you, the person who actually pays for the bed, are balancing on the very edge like a passenger on a crowded train. Most people assume they know why this happens. Warmth, habit, comfort. But those explanations barely scratch the surface. Because when your dog chooses to sleep beside you, something far deeper is taking place. This is not simple clinginess, it is not laziness, it is not a quirky personality trait. What you are witnessing is the result of thousands of years of evolution, powerful neurochemical systems, and one of the most remarkable relationships in the history of life on Earth. In fact, while your dog appears to be sleeping peacefully beside you, their brain is expressing something so profound that scientists have spent decades trying to understand it. And the answer changes the way you see that crowded mattress forever. To understand why your dog chooses your bed instead of a perfectly comfortable dog bed only a few feet away, you first have to understand how dogs see you. Researchers at Evolutionary University in Budapest began investigating a question that sounded almost absurd at first. Do dogs form attachments to humans in the same way that human infants form attachments to their parents? The team adapted a famous psychological assessment known as the Ainsworth-Strange Situation Test, originally designed for studying babies and their mothers. The framework measures three key behaviors: proximity seeking, distress during separation, and emotional recovery when a trusted figure returns. When the experiments were conducted with dogs and their owners, something extraordinary emerged. Dogs behaved almost exactly like human toddlers. When their owner left the room, many dogs displayed signs of stress and uncertainty. When the owner returned, those same dogs relaxed, sought physical closeness, and quickly regained emotional stability. The pattern was unmistakable. Your dog does not simply recognize you as a provider of food or walks. Your dog experiences you as a secure base. Even more striking was one statistic that caught the attention of behavioral scientists around the world. Approximately 61% of dogs were classified as securely attached to their owners. 61%. The exact same proportion commonly observed in securely attached human toddlers. Think about that for a moment. When your dog curls up beside you at night, they are not merely choosing a sleeping location. They are choosing the individual their brain has identified as safety itself. Out of every person they have ever met, out of every scent they have ever encountered, out of every place they could possibly rest, they choose you, and that choice becomes even more remarkable when you look inside the chemistry of the canine brain. Because attachment is not just an emotion, it is a biological process. Scientists studying human relationships have long known about a molecule called oxytocin. Often referred to as the bonding hormone, oxytocin plays a central role in trust, social connection, affection, and emotional security. Parents release it while interacting with their children. Couples experience increases during moments of intimacy. For years, researchers assumed this mechanism was largely unique to human relationships. Then, scientists from Azabu University in Neuroscience, Japan, publishing work in the journal Science, made a discovery that stunned the scientific community. They found that dogs and humans participate in an oxytocin feedback loop. The process is beautifully simple. Your dog looks into your eyes. Your oxytocin levels begin to rise. You instinctively look back. Now your dog's oxytocin levels increase as well. The result is a biological cycle of mutual bonding. A silent conversation written entirely in chemistry. Neither of you notices it happening, yet both of your brains are responding, Both of your nervous systems are changing. Both of you are becoming more emotionally connected. And then researchers performed a comparison that revealed just how unusual dogs truly are. They repeated similar experiments with wolves, not wild wolves, wolves raised by humans from birth, animals that had spent their entire lives around people. The loop failed to appear. The wolves looked at humans. Humans looked back, but the powerful oxytocin exchange never activated in the same way. That difference is enormous. It suggests that somewhere along the path of domestication, dogs evolved unique biological ability to form emotional bonds with humans that even their closest wild relatives cannot replicate. Your dog is not acting like a tame wolf. Your dog is something entirely different. And the bond becomes even stronger when physical contact enters the picture. Studies have shown that roughly 10 minutes of gentle physical interaction can reduce levels of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, in both humans and dogs. A hand resting on fur, a dog leaning against your side, a quiet moment shared on a couch. These interactions are not merely comforting, they are actively changing physiology. Heart rate slows. Stress decreases. The nervous system shifts toward a calmer state. The body begins preparing for rest, which means that by the time your dog settles beside you for the night, both of your brains may already be participating in a biological process designed to create deeper feelings of safety. And the reason this process exists at all can be traced back far beyond modern homes, far beyond bedrooms, and far beyond the invention of the bed itself. Long before cities existed, before written language, before agriculture transformed human civilization, nights were very different. Imagine standing beside a small fire nearly 15,000 years ago. The darkness beyond the flames feels endless. Every sound matters. Every movement could mean danger. Somewhere beyond the glow, predators move through the night, and among those shadows are wolves. Most remain distant, wary, untouchable. Yet over generations, something unusual begins to happen. A small number of wolves become less fearful of human presence. Humans, in turn, discover advantages in their company. These animals hear threats earlier, detect danger faster, provide warning while the tribe sleeps. A partnership slowly emerges, not through force, not through ownership, through survival, and evidence of that relationship survives to this day. In Germany, archaeologists uncovered a burial site dating back approximately 14,000 years. Among the remains was a dog that had suffered from canine distemper, a disease that would have left the animal weak, feverish, and unable to care for itself. Researchers studying the remains reached a remarkable conclusion. The dog survived for weeks while seriously ill. Weeks. An animal in that condition could not have survived alone. Someone fed it, protected it, cared for it, night after night, for at least 5 weeks. Think about what that means. An ancient, human family invested precious resources into keeping a sick dog alive during a period when survival itself was uncertain. That is not ownership. That is attachment. That is emotional commitment. And over thousands of years, that commitment left marks far deeper than anyone could have imagined. Scientists studying canine genetics discovered significant changes associated with social behavior on chromosome 6. Dogs possess genetic variations linked to extreme sociability and attraction toward humans, traits that wolves simply do not possess in the same form. The implication is profound. Humans did not merely change how dogs behaved. Humans changed what dogs became. Generation after generation, animals that connected more strongly with people were more likely to survive, reproduce, and pass those traits forward. Eventually, the desire for human companionship became written into the biology of the species itself. In a very real sense, Your dog was born expecting someone like you to exist, which makes an unexpected scientific contradiction even more interesting. Because sleeping beside your dog should, theoretically, make you sleep worse. Research from the Mayo Clinic has repeatedly shown that dogs can disrupt human sleep cycles. They move, they change position, they stretch across the mattress like furry dictators claiming new territory every few hours. Objectively speaking, these interruptions should reduce sleep quality. Yet when psychologists ask dog owners how they actually feel, the answers often tell a different story. Many report feeling safer, more relaxed, more rested, and a 2024 study from the University of Jyväskylä in Finland offered insight into why. The answer may lie in something called heart rate variability, often shortened to HRV. HRV reflects the flexibility and regulation of the nervous system. Healthy emotional regulation is often associated with healthy variability patterns. What researchers increasingly suspect is that bonded dogs and humans influence one another's physiological states. When your dog settles beside you, their breathing slows, their muscles relax, their nervous system enters a resting state, and because social mammals are highly sensitive to the physiological signals of trusted companions, your body responds without conscious awareness. Your nervous system begins adjusting to theirs. A form of biological synchronization occurs, not perfectly, not mechanically, but enough to create measurable feelings of calm and security. The remarkable part is that this response appears strongest in established bonds. An unfamiliar person sleeping beside you does not automatically create the same effect. A bonded dog often does, which means that, despite the occasional midnight kick to the ribs, your brain may interpret your dog's presence as a signal that the environment is safe, and safety changes everything about how rest is experienced. But there is another side to this story, one that every dog owner should know, because sometimes the most important message your dog communicates is not when they climb onto the bed, it is when they stop. If your dog has spent years sleeping beside you and suddenly avoids the bed altogether, do not dismiss it as a random behavioral change. Dogs rarely alter deeply established routines without a reason. One possibility is physical pain. Jumping onto a mattress may seem effortless when a dog is young, but arthritis and joint deterioration often begin long before obvious symptoms appear. Many dogs continue eating normally, continue wagging their tails, continue acting happy, yet quietly avoid movements that cause discomfort. Sometimes, reluctance to jump onto the bed is among the earliest visible signs. Your dog may not be choosing distance. Your dog may be trying to avoid pain. There is another possibility that deserves equal attention. Cognitive decline. Veterinary researchers estimate that approximately 35% of dogs over 8 years of age develop some degree of canine cognitive dysfunction, often described as a canine form of dementia. The condition gradually affects memory, orientation, sleep patterns, and daily routines. Dogs may become restless at night, forget familiar habits, appear confused in familiar spaces, or stop following routines they maintained for years. If a senior dog suddenly changes long-established sleeping behavior, it is worth paying attention, not with panic, with care, because early recognition can make a meaningful difference in quality of life, and sometimes the smallest behavioral change is the first whisper of a larger story, which brings us back to where we started. 2 o'clock in the morning, dark room, a crowded mattress, and a dog somehow occupying far more space than seems physically possible. Except now the picture looks different. That sleeping dog beside you is not there by accident. They are not simply seeking warmth. They are not following a meaningless habit. They are participating in a relationship shaped by thousands of years of evolution. reinforced by powerful neurochemistry encoded into their genetics, and strengthened every single day through trust. Out of every place they could sleep, out of every comfortable corner in the house, out of every scent, sound, and option available to them, they chose you to your dog. Your presence represents safety, comfort, belonging, and perhaps the closest thing they know to home. So tell me in the comments below, what percentage of the bed does your dog take up tonight? And if you think everything we've covered today is surprising, wait until you discover what is actually happening inside your dog's brain when they stare directly into your eyes for several seconds. The neuroscience behind that behavior reveals a connection so unusual that it still challenges what scientists thought was possible between two different species.